Pokémon has been around for a quarter of a century now, and over that time they've made around 900 Pokémon. That's a lot of fucking Pokémon. Even with the first generation, we saw some slightly less inspired Pokémon like Voltorb, the Pokeball with eyes, and Ekans, the purple snake, but that doesn't take away from its charm. It doesn't make it any less infuriating though. Today we take out all our hatred, our built-up frustration, and our unforgettable fury. Today, we're counting down the top 10 worst Pokémon. No Vanillux, Garbodor, Castform, Delibird, or Luvdisc, these Pokémon have been comically overhated that no one really feels strongly about them anymore. Also, this won't be a traditional sad countdown, it's entirely based on my opinion, and there's very little stories to tell with these. Purely gripes. Essentially, I'm not going to hate on these Pokémon who are already hated. Tell me something is bad and I'll immediately find a reason against it. We are sad. No, diagnosis needed. And this is my list, so I don't care about your opinion. Enough of the preamble, let's get on with it. Right, so red pill, blue pill. You pick an apple that has a weird dragon thing come out of it, or an apple pie. But what happens when you make a choice without knowing it would have fatal consequences? You buy Pokémon Sword instead of Pokémon Shield and get the shite dragon rather than the badass apple pie. But all is not lost, because in my version I went Applin to Flapple, a grass dragon type which is pretty unique, being the only one that isn't a mega evolution. On the surface level, a grass dragon type seems great. But with base stats of 485 and the gimmick move being another Newton reference, I was not happy. Especially considering Appleton's Apple Acid is the best. I lie, they're both quite mediocre, but you cannot fathom my upset when I realised you can only get the Sweet Apple in Pokémon Shield. Oh, but Aqua, trade and get one from friends. Ha, no, I don't like people. I continued to power through with my Flapple thinking, oh, it won't be that bad, it's not that terrible. I will recognise that my fixation on Appleton didn't give Flapple much time to flourish, but within my Pokémon Sword journey I found myself being infinitely more upset at how little it did and how frequently they died. I do however recognise I'm upset with Flapple, may just be my upset in Pokémon Sword in general. I pretty much assembled my team halfway through and had their moves then, so I slowly got bored of just pressing A continually. Regardless, I'm still bitter, and that's what happens when you miss out on a sweet apple. Perhaps this entry is on the shorter side, however this fuck is everywhere. I haven't played Pokemon Black/White too much, but this Pokemon is found continually in my playthrough. It's a nuisance to fight and sturdy makes it annoying. Alternatively, I just find this design uninspired and find the evolution silly. Just imagine them going, ha, let's turn it from a shell to a block. Something about it just misses the mark, and it's a shame because I like bug types. Not to say it's a bad Pokemon, I just think it's not very interesting, but a Gen 5 replay is definitely on the cards. Maybe next time, Dwebble. Right, so what happens when a Pokemon's gimmick is that it has random spots? Well, it's fucking shit, that's what it is. Spinder is apparently a spot panda Pokemon, which is interesting, in that you never see panda in Spinder. With no evolutions and mediocre stats, it's just another generic normal type with good move coverage, to which you can find a lot better. I also got it mixed up with Baltoy, so you get them in same areas, they both look like a ground psychic type, and Spinder learns one or two psychic moves, and it ruined it for me. I thought it was better, but I was just ignorant. Personally love taking mediocre Pokemon and giving them an interesting moveset and making them function in late game, even if their stats are left to be desired. I am weird like that. But Spinder you find in an area where you find, I don't know, Sandshrew, Slugma, Skarmory, or the next area over where you find Swablu, Seviper, and Zangoose. What is even the point? If you want a normal type that has good move coverage, just opt for Whismur. It has better stats, a better design, and actual evolutions. Sorry Spinder, just not good enough for me. As a kid, I absolutely adored Skitty. The design was so cute, but something didn't really work. Its moveset was mediocre, and it just didn't really do anything cool. I guess it would have learnt a lot of TMs, but its special attack stat would never really allow that. I always remember it being in Norman's gym. All it did was be defensive and die. At that point, I decided that it needed a new evolution, or like a different type. However, at the time I had no idea what it could do. Then, they announced fairy types, and my head ticked that box, like yeah, Skitty definitely needed that boost. But it wasn't fairy type, even though it seemed like it was going to pick up some fairy type moves. I was impressively furious about this when Ruby and Sapphire remakes came round, and Skitty was finally going to be on my team. I booted up the summary, and my heart sank. They did Skitty dirty. I just think it would give Skitty the boost that it also definitely needs. Like, this doesn't get fairy type, but Snubbull does. What bullshit is that? I like Meowth, he's pretty good in the show, and makes up an integral part of the anime's cast, and because of its service, it's granted near mascot status. That god-awful Brooklyn voice is synonymous. What isn't, however, is any of the special forms they gave them. Pokemon, please, if you don't have good design ideas, don't use them. So you look at Meowth, classic design, looks like a genuine Pokemon. Then it comes to Alola and he gets a fat head and a dark typing? Okay, alright, never mind, we'll try again when it comes to England. Oh wait, what is that? Oh, they made it a pun. They called it Berserker. And guess what? It's a Viking with a beard. To which you'll quip, hey man, that sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? And then you see it and it's just like, oh really? Now I'll admit the steel type sounds good, but I just feel it's uninspired. They definitely found the pun before the design and went, whoa, fuck it, why not? Also, stop chasing me. This bastard runs after you whenever you find it in Sword and Shield. Fuck off, alright? I'm not gonna catch you. Pikachu's great. A solid mix of strong yet needs Raichu to fully maximize its potential. However, Pikachu is the mascot, and what happens when you get a formula that works? Repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. Okay, I think you get the gist now, repeat it back to me. Oh wait, yeah. Well, in nearly every game there has been an electric mouse which tries to be both cute and strong. So, to avoid running over the same points that are entirely inspired and quite shit, I don't really find anything captivating about any of these except Mimikyu, because who doesn't want a cool fake Pikachu? Imagine how sad the kid would be to find it. All Mimikyu wants is love. To keep this interesting and avoid treading the same steps, I'll do a simple game of word association for each one. Pichu, baby, Plosilominum, pointless tag team, Pachirisu, kinda cool, deserved an evolution, Emolga, annoying and terrible to battle, Dedenne, Raichu needs love, but not like this, Togedemaru, probably the second most interesting, Morpeko, feels like a joke that didn't hit, reminds me of Danganronpa. I like Pikachu, we all do, but not this much. I like electric types, and I like steel types. But if the reason that they are together is that they're sort of mechanism, magnet, or appliance, I've had enough. Just off the top of my head, I'll throw out Bronzor, Kling Clang, and Voltorb. Simply a pain to deal with, they come at inconvenient times, and they're just simply boring. Perhaps if you like these sorts of things, sure, but they do absolutely nothing for me. I appreciate that steel types are confusing, but why do they have to be a bunch of boring robots? But then again, I'm not really one for mechs. Also, Magnemite is saved entirely by Magnezone. That bot is badass. In the same vein, I hate Aegis Slash. I don't like the gimmick and find it bland. I enjoy the idea, but the execution just feels rough. But I can understand why people enjoy it so much. Feels like they definitely missed out by not having it debut on Pokémon Sword and Shield though. Come on guys, you're slacking. Oh yeah, and Rotom's kitchen appliance deal is ridiculous, but I guess since it doubles as a Pokédex now, it's silly enough to be exempt. As much as Goldine's call is absolutely fantastic, it is completely bloody useless. I say that as someone who desperately tried to make it do anything, and well, lo and behold, it would not. I think it was initially there to have Waterfall, but then they just never let it develop anything good. This coupled with how it's portrayed in the anime, holy shit, it's useless. It just called out to flop there and remind us that the big flaw that is water-type Pokemon are out of water. And yeah, it's fine, I get it. Not every Pokemon's gonna have ridiculous stats and an interesting gimmick. But Goldeen doesn't have anything worth writing home about, other than it's cool, I guess. Sorry, Goldeen. You're just gonna flop there for now. I forgot this Pokemon existed, and I'm sad that I realised it did. Mr. Rhyme is a Galarian form of Mr. Mime. Ha! Get it? I know it's quite quick-witted and nuanced in its delivery. Did you know that mime rhymes with rhyme? Oh, fuck's sake. I get that rhyme's also a nice thing, that's fine, you know, fair enough, keep it moving. But I don't know if it was just a silly joke by Game Freak, or just a mockery from the designers. But this thing is fucking ridiculous. It's an ice psychic type with a weird hat, a red nose, and some clown shoes. I've read this is supposed to be like Charlie Chaplin, which makes sense, but just look at the state of this thing. I'm aware that this thing sounds petty, but this thing's existence makes me question mine. Name an iconic duo. Well, Pokemon Team in making fire starters that they want to be fighting types. Blaziken, Infernape. Emboar, Incineroar, and Cinderace. All Pokemon that represent the downfall of fire type starters. See, what happened with Blaziken is that they had a cool idea. Let's make a Kung Fu chicken. And bridled with Blaze Kick, it felt badass. And it would have been the most badass starters, but it scratched the dev team's itch. Albeit there have only been 3 genuine firefighting types, Blaziken, Infernape, and Emboar. But you can tell they are purely different typing because they thought of a cool firefighting design and didn't want to be called out for it. Hey, Incineroar's not a fighting type, I swear. It's just a wrestler who learns Darkest Lariat and Double Kick and a whole other lot of fighting type moves. I refuse to believe anything else. I think this is especially present purely because they had to match the double super effective typings. But come on now. It's not a fighting type, I swear, it's dark. God. Do you not know wrestling? Yes, I do. Fuck off. Similar stance for Cinderace, which had to be a monotype, I guess. It makes sense, but in my brain it feels like a cop-out. It's not a fighting type, it's a football player, so it has to have fighting type moves and kicks. I will admit, starters aren't for me anymore. I feel like everyone's team should be unique, and why should everyone share a member of a team? As well as this, I'm kinda tired of the generic fire, water, grass starters, and I think that making different type starters would be a big breath of fresh air for myself and hopefully a lot of other people. But, you know, they kind of act as mascots for each game, so fair enough, it doesn't need to change. It's a me issue, I guess. But as long as we avoid firefighting stars for the next 10 years maybe, then the damage they've caused will be healed. The issue is the typing immediately peaked with Blaziken. Listen, alright, I love Pokemon, but we have to give them some leeway here. This list comes from a place of love, except that love has been put through a lice-infested sieve. We've been sad. No diagnosis needed, and just remember, firefighting stars are so fucking overdone. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure to press that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to make sure you're notified of every single upload. If you want to support us on Patreon, where we have a goal for all of the first generation of Pokemon ranked. And if you want to go support us, go follow me on Twitter at RealAquaDreams and follow Sad on Twitter at We Are Sad Indeed. We also have a Discord server if you want to come hang out. We post bloopers there and we just chat bollocks. It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. And just remember, just because we're sad doesn't mean we want tears.